Welcome to the It's in Queens podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Simmons, and this is the only podcast that focuses on my borough of Queens. This podcast comes to you each week thanks to the Queens Tourism Council and the Queens Economic Development Corporation. Together, they work tirelessly to showcase Queens as a destination filled with amazing experiences, cultural gems, opportunities for everyone, whether you live here, you work here, or you're visiting. One of the strongest threads in the fabric of Queens is its vibrant creative arts sector. From galleries and theaters to music venues and dance studios, the arts are alive and thriving in every corner of our borough. Now, over the years, I have met countless arts professionals who may spend their days working in Manhattan, whether in theater or museums or cultural institutions, but they chose to live in Queens. When I handled PR, for instance, for the production of Fiddler on the Roof in Yiddish, I was absolutely floored by how many of the players and the people behind the scenes lived in Queens. And it really is no surprise why. Because it's a very affordable way of life, and Queens offers a strong sense of community, a rich and diverse cultural identity, and, well, so many opportunities around every corner. That's what we talk about on this podcast every single week. There's this blend of creativity and connection and comfort that draws so many talented individuals to call Queens home. And that includes Rafael Sánchez, the Executive Artistic Director of Repertorio Español, one of the most celebrated Latino theater companies in the country. Now, while his company is based in Manhattan, Rafael proudly calls Queens home. In this week's episode, I talk with Rafael about the mission and history of Repertorio Español, the impact of Latino theater, and what makes Queens such a special place to call home. Rafael Sánchez, welcome to the It's in Queens podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great to have you here. I'd love to start off by finding more about your journey from Spain to Puerto Rico and eventually New York City. How did that go? What happened there?
Well, a lot of things, I guess. I finished my MA in Performing Arts in Madrid, and then I had a partner that was Puerto Rican, so I decided to move to the island and live there for 10 years. I studied my second MA and my PhD there and founded my own theater company while I was teaching at the University of Puerto Rico. So after those 10 years, Hurricane Maria happened, 2017, and I decided to jump to New York because I knew that I was not going to be able to have a job for a couple of months. So that's how I landed here.
And how did you land in Queens, or why did you choose Queens specifically?
Well, many reasons. I have a lot of friends that live in the neighborhood, Sunnyside, and this is the first place where I arrived. You know, at that tragic moment, 10 days after the hurricane, we were able to leave the island, and friend Maria Cristina Fuste, she's like my mentor, and she lived in Astoria, in Sunnyside. So we stayed there for the first months, and then, you know, checking options to live in Queens because we love the neighborhood and the borough. We lived in Long Island City and now in Astoria.
And it's such a small world. We just featured her as the monthly picks here at the Queens Tourism Council. Very small. And I worked with her on Domino Effect with the People's Theater, formerly known as People's Theater Project.
That's correct. Wow, that's amazing.
Very small world. So let's talk about Repertorio Español. Talk a little about how when you first conceived of the idea and how that evolved into founding the company.
Well, Repertorio was founded in 1956, 58, sorry. And it is 56 years old. It was founded by René Buch and Gilberto Zaldívar. And they were Cuban immigrants. They arrived to the city and started to do theater. Originally, their intention was to perform classic Golden Age Spanish classics in Spanish for the Spanish-speaking citizens in New York, right? But the company was evolving and it became such a big institution, like a legacy theater that we are located in 27th Street in Manhattan, but we serve the whole city with schools coming to our shows. We started to build this wonderful programming of 10 different productions running at the same time, literally changing every single day. All of them performed in Spanish with English subtitles, and that's what we do today.
I love that you connect with schools. Why has that been very important for you to do?
Well, we serve more than 20,000 students a year. Literally, the work of the company, like we do the performances on the weekends for the general audience, but I think that one of the most important programs that we have is Dignidad, which brings students from every borough to the theater and present plays like The House of Bernarda Alba, Quixote, La Gringa, plays that are relevant to them and that improve their process of Spanish speaking learning, or if they are already bilingual or Spanish speakers, it's a celebration of their roots and who we are, right? So it's a beautiful program.
Repertorio Español has a long history of showcasing Latin American and Spanish theater. How do you balance honoring its legacy while introducing new works and ideas?
Well, this is the first time that the company is managed or leader by someone that is not a founder because Robert Federico, the prior executive director, was involved in the company since the beginning, although he was not one of the founders. But he joined the company 3 years after it was created. So for the first time, I'm having the opportunity and the challenge, I will say, of risking a little bit more with the proposals that we are doing. Uh, the good thing is that since we have 10 different productions at the same time, we present very different things. And if you all prefer a comedy, you will have a comedy. If you prefer a classic, you will have a classic. If you want a Latinx contemporary playwright, you will have that too. But at the same time, I'm trying to bring new topics and younger audiences to the theater by introducing other things that haven't been around at Repertorio.
And, to use two of the words you said, in my view, every challenge is an opportunity. So talk a little about how you choose the productions that would resonate with a broad audience.
Well, in my case, remember that I took over during the pandemic with a theater closed. So at the
That was a
beginning,
challenge.
oh, that was a challenge. We survived. We thrived, and we are here. We translated all of our programs into online programming, so the students and our our community had access to our programs. But after that, when we reopened, there were a couple of projects that were already in the pipeline because of the theater being closed for so long. So my last 2, 3 seasons have been a mix of projects that were already set up and new things that I want to produce. For example, we did La Llamada, which is a musical. It's been a long time since Repertorio has not been able to produce a musical because obviously it's the budget, many situations, and also the space is very small. But I found this musical called La Llamada that is being very successful around the world, and I thought that Repertorio was the perfect place to do it. La Golondrina, for example, is a play with LGBTQ topics, right? It's inspired in the terrorist attack at Paul's. So, bringing these other topics to the community and attract younger generations, I think it's important when adding new plays to our repertory.
And I know it's important to attract younger audiences while you expand your reach. I'm wondering also what specific steps or measures you've taken to kind of go beyond just Spanish speakers so that you can attract a much wider audience.
Well, to be honest, nowadays necessarily like being Latino or Hispanic doesn't necessarily means to speak Spanish. So obviously we are evolving and we have the subtitles in every production that we have. So if you're not a Spanish speaker, you can enjoy our productions no matter what. We have you will have your own device in front of your seat, like if you were in the Met and read whatever is happening on stage. Also, all of our playbills and everything is bilingual or in English too. And we're even thinking about opening our mind a little bit to explore potential collaborations with other theaters and do bilingual productions, so we can also attract people that doesn't necessarily speak Spanish, but they want to celebrate being Latinos.
And we talked about your work during the pandemic, and I found this with a number of the cultural organizations I work with on how they had to shift to digital content. And even after the pandemic waned, they continued to do that because they're finding they're still able to get a broader audience from even outside the New York City metropolitan area. Have you continued that?
That's correct. We still have available some of our productions All of our study guides are available for free online in our webpage. Like we have a lot of initiatives to keep engaging with people that doesn't necessarily live in the city, because although we believe honestly that theater should be, experienced in person, we know that not everyone has the same opportunity to have access to it. So it's great to, reach people from all over the country and the world.
And so let's get to your life in Queens, by the way. As a resident of Queens and also, if I'm correct, an adjunct lecturer at Queens College, how has living and working in Queens influenced your artistic vision?
Well, I guess a lot. I'm really in love with this neighborhood. I can't express how happy I feel when I go to the restaurants that are around me, the businesses that and we even know the owners of the businesses. Like, it's people from every different country. It's so diverse, not only among Hispanics and Latinos, but in general. So it's great, and it feels like a little bit like repertorio. Like when I go to the office and the theater, like I work with people from Argentina, Mexico, Peru, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. Like no matter what, and we celebrate who we are as Latinos, but we also celebrate our differences. Because obviously being Latino, it's not the same to be from or Hispanic from Spain to Caribbean to Argentinian. So living here, I feel like a continuation of this artistic environment that I have around me the whole day at the theater, and I'm learning a lot about food, a lot about culture. I like to engage with everyone and get to know, the specificities of their nationalities and their identity, and celebrate them.
And I have to admit, I've been living in Queens for quite some time now, and the food was one of the most appealing reasons why I loved moving here, although it did impact my weight. But that's another issue. Uh, looking ahead, what are some of the exciting projects or initiatives that you're working on that you want our listeners to know about? Would love to inform them.
Sure, we're opening a new show later this year called La Ternura by Alfredo Sanzol. We still have our 10 different productions running at the same time. We have a wonderful program on summer for young directors. By the way, one of the directors is my neighbor. It happens to be my neighbor. I get to know that later. They direct two different productions. Last year they did contemporary plays, and this year they're doing classic Spanish Golden Age plays. And I'm working on a couple of collaborations with other organizations that I am very excited about. I cannot share that much yet about it, but I'm dreaming bigger with Repertorio. I think that if other companies are able to transfer their work to bigger venues and theaters, why Repertorio hasn't done that yet? So let's see.
And before I let you go, how can people learn more about Repertorio Español? Where can they go?
The best way to be in contact with us is on our social media, Repertorio Español, and also our website, www.repertorio.nyc.
Rafael Sanchez, thank you so much for appearing here this week on the It's in Queens podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Under Rafael's leadership, Repertorio Español continues to honor its rich heritage while embracing innovation to engage new generations of theater goers. And I want to tell you about one event that's coming up, so mark your calendars for June 3rd. It's the organization's 57th anniversary celebration, Fiesta 2025. Proceeds will be used to support Repertorio's education program, Dignidad, which makes theater accessible to students that have limited access to the rich theatrical heritage of Latin America, Spain, and the Latinx community, and provides instruction by professional theater artists in local schools with high Latino enrollment. And once again, that website is repertorio.nyc. Now, if you're looking for something else to do this month or next, we have you covered. We always do. That is where Rob Mackay comes in. He's with the Queens Economic Development Corporation and Queens Tourism Council. And each and every week, he highlights some of the more exciting events that are happening in our borough.
Jeffrey! Hey, Jane's Walk weekend is upon us. It's actually 3 days, May 2nd to May 4th. This is a citywide activity that the Municipal Arts Society organizes every year. It's easy to give a brief description, although the details are endless. Basically, tour guides lead free excursions around the five boroughs. Usually, there's a theme such as architecture, culture, demographics, history, nature, maybe even food. And as always, every year, Queens is in the center of the action with 29 different walks, although some of them might have already sold out, which means you can get on a wait list. Anyway, learn how to forge in Astoria, refight the American Revolution in Elmhurst, gaze in awe at the Victorian houses in Richmond Hill, or splash through Flushing Bay. Those are just some of the options. There's a lot of great stuff, and it's really fun. Check out more stuff. We have a whole article on it with descriptions about all the walks in Queens. Of course, we don't sell the other boroughs. Coke doesn't sell Pepsi, after all. And it's out there, and it's in Queens, or just look up Jane's Walk Weekend at the Municipal Arts Society. All right, Jeffrey, thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Rob. That's just a few of the things happening in our borough, and the place to go to discover and explore everything that's on the horizon is so easy to remember. It's at the It's in Queens website. The website address is itsinqueens.com. And if you're interested in more business-related news, how to help your business or friends or family members, well, head right over to the Queens Economic Development Corporation's website at queensny.org. And by the way, when you're there or when you visit the It's in Queens website, sign up for their newsletters. That way you get notified in your inbox about opportunities. When you visit any place in Queens, snap some photos, share them with us. Make sure to use the hashtag It's in Queens when you post on Instagram or X, because your photo could become our photo of the week. I'm your host, Jeff Simmons, and that's it for this week's It's in Queens podcast.